Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the April 18th POA Board Work Session. With us today by Zoom, by the way, is Jeff Hendren and Jackie Gain. Hello to both of you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Our next agenda item is our open forum. I don't see that we have anybody signed up, and I understand that we don't have any emails to be read this morning, so we'll move on from that. Our next agenda item is then our annual report on non-performing lots. And Tom, if I could ask you to present your information.
Great. So each year we do this report, and it is based upon, well, non-performing lots are those, can you turn your mic off? We're getting a little feedback. Those that either the POA owns, and we don't pay assessments, of course, to ourselves, and those that are owned by property owners that are behind or in foreclosure or for whatever reason are not paying. And we do that at this time of year because March 31st is the cutoff date that determines who can vote for the board of directors and who can't, so members in good standing. And so we've picked this date as the official date that we run this report every year. And so if you go back in time, now we are reporting because of changeovers in systems and so forth. We selected December 31st, 2015 as our starting date. And at that time, which I actually started about 2 weeks later on the 11th of January 11th of 16. At that time, we had 8,035 lots that were not paying their assessments. That amounted to 20.6%. So on the slide, we're calling this sustained success. You can see that way back at the end of 2015, we were at 20.6%, and we have steadily made improvements over that. Back in 2015, 16, when I got here, we didn't even have a collections department. And so now we have a group working on it, and a lot of different people involved, and you'll see a list of those names in a couple slides, but you'll see that is steady progress down to 3.3. Industry standard is about 15 to 20%. So, a couple of years ago, we actually compared ourselves to Hot Springs Village, which is similar but different, and they were, I think, over 30% at that time. So we're way down at 3.3%, and you can see that the number of lots, so we went from 8,035 all the way down to 1,253. The team continues to amaze me at how they continue to get people to pay their fair share. They purchased a lot, they made a commitment, and they need to pay their assessments. And the financial impact of that is and this is just 1 year's worth. If you look at that, we have now 6,782 additional lots paying their assessments, assuming all those are unimproved, so that's $16 a month. So that gets you $1.3 million per year. If you go back in time, it's going to get less because we've been steadily improving. Also, over that same period of time, we've seen an increase in the number of homes built, 2,681. Now, we can't determine whether those people built because we were involved, meaning we had a property owner that was not paying their assessments. Maybe we foreclosed or we acquired that property and we sold it to someone else and then they built, or whether the people had purchased their lot years ago and it just happened that they started building during this period. We can't tell. There's no way to determine that. But clearly we've had a nice increase in the number of homes built, and so those go from $16 up to $40, and so that's an additional 772,000. So well over $2 million per year of an increase. So that is outstanding. The number of improved lots now stands at 16,130, which is really quite impressive. And it is truly a team effort. These are members of our legal team, our collections, accounting, member resources. Those are all the people, and some of these people have been here the entire 8-year period, and I see a couple of these names that have joined the department just a couple months ago. And we've had a lot of people coming and going during the 8-year period, but it is absolutely a team effort to make it happen, and just really pleased with the crew. I don't know how we're going to get better than 3.3, and definitely the economy plays on that. If the economy were to suffer, that number would probably increase. Probably 5 or 6% is probably a reasonable number for us to be at 3.3, means that we're pretty much hitting a grand slam every time we come at bat. So kudos to the team. They did an outstanding job. Last week we brought all these individuals, all these team members in, and they met with the board, and we congratulated them for a job well done.
Thank you, Tom, and it was a pleasure last week to have everybody here, and they certainly got a standing ovation from the board that was well deserved, and I know that we really appreciate their can-do spirit. It's clearly evident. Moving on to our next agenda item is not as pleasant, emergency water main replacement for the Sugar Creek Shopping Center. Can you share that information?
So this is, if you know Sugar Creek Shopping Center, it's the southernmost portion of it by the new bridge, or the renovated bridge, and we had a major water line blowout in that section. It's a high pressure area. I mean, it's a very important portion. Water service has been restored, or was actually restored to all customers very quickly, but it was such a blowout that the concrete, the asphalt in the area is all messed up. And we really need to bring in a specialty company to do this work, because it's a high pressure zone, and there's a culvert, and there's 3 Carroll Electric power lines all coming through, all in that one little area. And we need to get moving pretty quickly, because that's where the delivery trucks for the shopping center like to go through that area. So the water department is requesting $70,000 to do the work. They're going to outsource it, bring in a company that we've worked with, we have experience with, we feel comfortable with them. That this amount includes a 15% contingency, and includes repairing the parking lot, so the asphalt work and so forth. Now, this is one of those instances where I informed the board very quickly of what was going on, and gave approval, and so we've already signed the contract, we're already moving forward. It's one of those things that just absolutely cannot wait, and so but we do need to retroactively approve once everything is done. And in your board packet, we have an image of the location of where the leak was, and we've been speaking with the owner of the shopping center to make sure they're informed of what our efforts are.
Thank you, Tom, and this is something that we will vote on at our regularly scheduled meeting.
Correct.
But we are aware of the situation, and kudos to everybody who acted quickly,
right,
to mitigate this.
And I let the board know the same day I knew, so it was
right.
There was no delay in information.
I think we did the best we could under a bad situation to mitigate it. Thank you. Next up is the Lakes JAC nominations. We have nominations for openings there. Would you share those? So
we have 2. One is for Ross Gerner, who happens to be my neighbor, and he's coming for his second term. Third term? Second term? Second term? And then Carol Phillips, also, she's not my neighbor. But the Lakes Committee has voted to approve them. This is that time of year when we asked the committees to make sure that they have a full contingent. Way back when, we had multiple committees that were missing multiple members, and they weren't functioning at optimal. And so now Jessica works with the committee chairs, make sure let's get this done. So these terms don't expire for a couple months, and we're already working to get them approved for another term, so that way there's no hiccup, they won't miss a meeting and so forth. So Jessica does a good job of making sure that the chairs are staying on task.
Thank you, Tom. Before I get on to announcements, do we have any other comments from board members? Something on the agenda or anything
I
else?
was just going to ask Tom to give an update on the current voting situation, where we're at as far as procedures.
As of this morning, it was 8%. And so getting word from, I got my paper ballot already. I got my e-ballot also. But if you're at home, do your homework, make an informed decision. Most importantly, vote, participate. It's important that you participate. So that's one announcement. Second announcement is the rain has been removed from tomorrow's forecast. We will have a band, and we will have the seasonal opening of the Gear Garden. So that'll be tomorrow. And so I invite everybody to join Alice and I. We're going to be there tomorrow, probably with a couple of our dogs, and we're going to get a beer and enjoy the music. The band starts at 5. The Gear Garden opens up at 2. I got to work, so after work I'll be there.
That's great news, and what a success story the Gear Garden is. So
And
I'm sure people are looking forward to it.
It marks time. This is our first season, and it's spring, and it's getting warmer, so it's just another mark of time as we go along.
Yeah, absolutely, and a wonderful venue, and I'd like to call out Mike Abb, who had a big part of helping bring that about, and a success story, and we thank you for that, Mike, and all your efforts in that
Gotta
regard.
love some Blowing Springs. Hey, did all the e-ballots get sent? I noticed I haven't received mine either.
So we get this question every year. So a couple different things is making sure. So I'm going to talk in general terms, not necessarily you specifically. So one of the things that confuses people is they'll sign up for our eBlast weekly newsletter. Hey, I'm getting the weekly newsletter. Well, that's a different database than when you go in, you sign up for your water, and you give us your email address, and you're opting in to that. These two don't talk to each other currently. They will soon talk to each other. So that's one confusion. So people inherently are like, well, I get your emails every week, but I didn't get a ballot. So that's one thing. The second thing is people forget to tell us, so they update their email address, and we're the last people to find out. They move, they change their telephone number, or what have you, and we're the last person to find out. The last thing is it goes into your spam filter, or if you're on Cox Cable, they in particular really filter it out. So when the ballots go out electronically, they send them out in drips and drabs. They don't put them out in bulk, because if they do that, then it gets caught by filters, and servers say, no, it must be spam that's being sent out. So all those different things are why people may or may not have received an e-ballot. What you can do is call the telephone number, which I assume by now you've received your paper ballot. Call the telephone number on it, and they can send you one. You can always call Member Resources and check and see if we have your most current email address.
As long as you got your paper ballot, all you have to do is log on to the iTive Vote site, and you can use your logon information from your paper ballot. Yeah, you don't have to have the email.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to do it by paper. You can. So those are the different reasons. It's always hard, but what we can do is give Jessica your private email after the meeting, and then she'll check and see, and we'll try. And sometimes it's just there's things that are beyond our control. We can give them out. They can send out the e-blast or the e-vote, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't come through. So.
And Tom, to clarify, whether you have an e-ballot sent to you or not, everybody receives a paper ballot?
Everybody receives a paper ballot. That is required by our declaration. So our governing documents require that. And we count the last vote that you make. So let's say Allison gets the e-ballot and she votes, and then I get the paper ballot and I vote. Whatever comes in second counts, because by law, you're actually allowed to change your vote. So we're gonna take the second one.
Okay, good clarification, thank you. I won't go through all of the announcements, those are available online on our website, but I will point out one thing that is on the announcements, the annual meeting of members and board election results. That will be held on Tuesday, May the 21st at 6 p.m. At Lake Point, and it'll be available also through live stream. It is our annual meeting, but it's also when the results of the elections occur. Other than that, everything else is regularly scheduled and again is available. So without any further comments or questions, I declare us adjourned.